PSG wins the title. They did not win the game. Match finished in a 1-1 draw, but there you see it. PSG tying Saint-Etienne for the most titles in French top flight history. Jules, the celebrations for this one I was reading afterwards were muted. Why?
Yeah, because the Ultras, as we know, are not happy, still not happy after the defeat in Madrid at the Bernabeu in the Champions League. So they decided to celebrate, but without the players. So the Ultras left the Parc des Princes 10 minutes before the end, when we knew that Lens could get a goal back but would not have won the game, and they did get a goal back but didn't win the game. So PSG were still champions, and they went outside and celebrated on their own outside, which, as much as I understand the Ultras, and I myself is very underwhelmed by this season, by this title, as much as I would like to celebrate it and be happy, this is not a good season. Let's be honest here. The football has been dreadful for most of it. The disappointment of the Champions League exit is hurt and is bad. It's really bad. And yes, they won, but they won because the rest didn't play well. Marseille, Monaco, Nice, all those teams, Lyon especially, underperformed, even if Marseille kind of maybe at the level that you would expect them at the start of the season. But that's why they won so comfortably. Not because they were good, because they were not good. Apart from Kylian, the rest were very average, and Messi had his moments. But as we saw, Neymar tonight again had a shocking game. So the Ultras went out. I don't agree with it. I think you celebrate together, even if it's not wild celebrations. You don't need to go too crazy and too mad. But yeah, that's why it was such a weird atmosphere, even watching on television, because clearly people are not happy.
Jules, speaking of the fans and the fact that they're clearly not happy, we saw Pochettino getting booed, but not during the game, not after the match, before the game even started. Just how tense, how toxic are things right now?
Yeah, it's really hard for him. I mean, he has his parts of responsibility, of course, of this very average season. For the bad football that they've played, because he never managed to put together a team that could actually move the ball well with patterns of play, the style of football. We're not going to go back on what we've explained a million times this season on the show, but this is the reality. And I think today they were not happy for the whole season. They were not happy by the comments that he had in midweek, saying that basically he had a contract. It was not about him wanting to stay next season, for example. It's just the fact that he had another year on his contract, which is really not what you should be saying right now, to try to get your fans on your side, because that clearly backfired on him. And I think a lot of the fans think, listen, this title has been won a few weeks ago. Why don't you change things a little bit? Why don't you play some of the talented kids from the academy? Why don't you give a chance to some people who don't play much? And instead, we still have players like Neymar, who is clearly out of form, he's clearly not in confidence. I mean, it's not even an assist really today. It's just a square ball to Messi, who then does a bit of magic to score that great goal. But all of us could have done that pass. So I think that's why the relationship right now between Poch and the fans, and especially the Ultras, is very, very difficult.
Jules, one final thing on this match. Afterwards, Leonardo was given some quotes about Mbappe. Anything new or interesting come out of that?
No, Kylian stopped as well in the mixed zone and said, he was asked the question again, and he said, nothing has changed. I haven't decided. I've got nothing to say. Leonardo said the same. He said he hasn't decided. He could definitely still stay. He could also definitely still go and leave and go to Real Madrid. The negotiations, as we know, are going on right now because Mbappe's mum is in Doha right now with his younger brother. They've met with the PSG chairman, Nasser Al-Khelaifi, who is doing Ramadan in Qatar. There will be other meetings in Paris next week, I believe, and we wrote it on the website. They're also going to go to Madrid to have meetings with Real Madrid. And I think this is the process, and the process at some point will come to an end. I'm being told at the end of the season, maybe early June, and then Kylian Mbappe will announce his decision. It won't be like the big decision like LeBron or Griezmann before, but it would be like, okay, now I'm going to tell you, and we will know if it's PSG or Real Madrid.
Thank you very much for watching ESPN FC on YouTube. For more highlights, analysis, and exclusive content, be sure to subscribe.